Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa iti namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa iti namine. Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa iti namine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, 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 Madana Mohana. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. 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 Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Srila 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Horrible Namaste. Today we'll continue our study program. So to those who are new in attending this program, it's more on an information drive of the transcendental science of devotional service. And we like to share to everyone about this gift, its benefits, and what will be the fruits of listening and applying this science in our lives. It is a program that has been requested by my God sister and my friends. So, years back, I like to narrate a story that happened 4 decades ago. More than 4 decades. It is a situation. It was a situation wherein Jagad Guru Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa came to the Philippines, and he is passing on the teachings of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of Parampara. And what is Parampara? It is the unbroken chain of spiritual master coming from the long line, this long line of confidential friends, of pure devotees, loving servants of God. And the message that they give is for our well-being. Because we have now this program, healing program. So it should be for our well-being. What is to be healed? No? So when my spiritual master, Jagad Guru Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, was giving a talk, he was trying to make it clear to us that the reason He's communicating to us is so we can understand this science that will be the Savior, will be what we always hear as devotional service. So, many of us during that time, I was just wide-eyed, just listening. Then somebody is taking pictures. He was taking pictures. And Srila Prabhupada said to him, "You take pictures with your ear, with your ears. You listen, because the eyes cannot listen and cannot hear. It can just see externally. So better listen to the topics, these teachings I am trying to convey or to pass on." So he said, during the time, I did not come to the Philippines to have 7 disciples, to initiate 7 disciples. I come here to educate everyone about this transcendental science, so you can help others, so they can be guided to this path of freedom. And what is that freedom? Freedom from this material disease that has engulfed us, has covered us. It is about false bodily identification. It's also about forgetfulness of our true nature. And not only that, we tend to follow the dictates of the mind by force. And the mind has become the driving force, the desires there, in search for fulfillment and happiness and security. And it's causing so much pain to everyone, to all of us. So he taught us that the mind must become our friend. Is my mind my friend? So he gives us a process to purify our minds from this disease, this pollution, that the desire in the mind becomes purified, and it will be connected with our true nature and our true function as eternally the loving servant of God, that we can repose our love not upon this material world, but rather one-pointedly be connected in the practice of devotional service. So I was hearing him during that time. Then it dawned upon me, because I grew up in a place called the City of Flowers. Not ladies, flowers. The place is really bountiful with flowers. And this classmate of mine, they have this garden, a lot of roses. And they sell that roses during graduation, and a lot of people goes there during Valentine's season. So it's always that produce of that garden, the fragrant roses. And it dawned upon me that this rose, this flower, different individuals use it for a certain purpose. Somebody dies, they make a bouquet of roses and offer it to the dead. Graduation, somebody have a lot of individuals achieve, skills, and they're given this token, these roses. And during Valentine, the roses, these fragrant roses are being put in bundle. 3, I love you. Then it's being sold, and different individuals goes there and buy roses to offer to their loved ones. When our Gurudev begin to educate us with wisdom, meaning the truth that is absolute. When I say absolute, it is eternal. So he taught us about everything that is here in this universe is owned by God, living or non-living. And then he taught us how we can offer to God in devotion. So, the examples I gave was about devotion to the dead, devotion to this person who was able to achieve, pass, and achieve a career. And the other is to communicate to this young lady, to his wife, or to his son. Just like during Valentine's Day, I used to travel, I see all the law enforcers, policemen. Because here in the Philippines, it's quite different. When you say policeman, everybody's policeman. There's fear. They give roses to show their affection and love. But through proper education that is stated in scriptures, Sri Isopanisad, under the guidance, able guidance of someone who sees the truth, who sees God, who is loving the Supreme Person, guides us how to be connected with that devotion. He teaches us. So, in the mantra of Sri Isopanisad, it's stated there, everything, animate or inanimate, that is within this universe is owned and controlled by the Supreme Person. Everything is taking care of us. We're given a certain quota. We have allotted quota. And we should only use the quota that is allotted to us. So the reason I want to connect that with this science is that the attitude, when a person is covered, is in ignorance of his true identity, he cannot see or she cannot see how to connect herself with devotional service. So the spiritual master gives us a process to purify the mind, because the mind is the driving force. So a person whose mind driven and driven by desire, material desires, it's very hard for him to have clarity of what he should do that will benefit him spiritually. So, the devotee, when he walks around, he sees, oh, a garden of roses, gardenias, and wow. Now, he pick up all those flowers, put it in a bundle, put it in a jar, make garlands, and offer it in loving devotion to the Supreme Person. Because he's guided by the spiritual master how one can connect oneself with God. It is through devotion. So the spiritual master established our true nature, because the foundation for moving forward is to know who we are. Until and unless we know who we are, our true nature, how can we move forward? So he guided us with this wisdom. He taught us the science of identity. And he taught us about our position. He taught us about what is real happiness. And that happiness is when one's love is offered to God in devotion. So, there's this story that I will be narrating after this. It's to give a recap. Different individuals, when they see this object, like the flower, they use it for their purpose, for their own intent, whatever it is. But when a person who is guided by the devotee, he now sees, oh, I can offer this to Krishna. And what is happening here is that the living entity in that rose plant is benefited. We're not making a decision for that living entity because he's in a body that's stuck in the ground. The roots are there, he cannot move. But we can assist that living entity by gathering all the fruits, the flowers and everything. That's why this science that's being taught to us by our Gurudev, by Lord Krishna, benefits everybody. Not only human beings, everybody. So this healing sound that is being introduced, the Sankirtan movement, it is the prime benediction for humanity at large, for everybody else, for all spirit souls who are stuck in this material world. A man must elevate himself by his own mind, not degrade himself. So the mind is our temporary possession. And because of the mind, we are now covered and engrossed in this body. And it's very obvious. Spiritual practice, this guidance, we should be very diligent. We should be very diligent in a way that we follow carefully. Just like when a doctor finds out that we have this disease and he gives us this medicine, this prescription, and the prescription, we don't take it seriously to cure the disease that is inflicted in our body. He gives us this medicine. We should be very diligent. And the reason we follow the doctor, because he's a bona fide doctor. We don't follow quack doctors because he's convinced that this medicine can cure us from the disease that is bothering us. So the disease that is bothering everybody else are the desires in the mind, the focus, the direction. And it boils down to this ignorance of our true identity. The false ego, I'm Lord, I'm the one, I'm the man. I do what I want to do. You see all the advertisement? You have come a long way, babe. Do what you want. Drive a big truck. Drive a tank, Go to the octagon and, brawl with everybody else. Show you can do what you need to do, So, this desire to do our own will, and now directed by the mind and the desire, or because we are so engrossed, we identify with the mind, and every time the desire comes in, pops out, because it is now explicitly tasted through the senses. Now, we become servant of the senses. We should follow those who have succeeded. Someone who is convinced. The spiritual master have understood with deliberation and argument the science, not in argumentative state. No? An example is Maharaj Pariksit in humbleness, sitting, listening to Sukadev Goswami, spiritual master. The more he listen, the more he hears, the more he is enthused to want more. He becomes inquisitive about the lives of those who are in the transcendental world of loving devotion. And he's able to experience that life through hearing from Sukadev Goswami. So now our spiritual master, Jagad Guru Siddhaswarup, who came to this planet, who is here now, is giving us this guidance that we must purify the mind. Our mind should become our friend. We used to ride airplanes, most of us. And it has become, a casual thing. The stewardess comes, while the plane is lifting, then the stewardess stands there and okay, how to survive in case of untoward incident. They don't say to you, in case the airplane crashes in the ocean, hits a mountain. No, they don't tell that. In case of untoward incidents, you have a life vest, And in case there's no oxygen, this oxygen mask will just drop and you can just pull it and, they don't tell you. Now, when you are in a very dangerous, precarious situation that you are to face death, because it will not save you. Presuming it can save you, this tiny life vest, that you put here. And then they're also telling us that, there's this light in case there's no more electricity, but there's this light that you can see. You just walk towards the door. You will be guided. But you don't listen, presuming that we're thinking that, yes, it can save me. You don't listen. And they tell you, there's this door, don't open that door. Don't open that door. Because when you open that door, you'll be sucked out. All of us here will be sucked out of this plane because of the pressure. You'll be a gunner. But you don't listen. Then, you go to the CR, instead of going to the CR, you open the door. Then you get blown away, So my point is this. The spiritual master is very grave, very serious of our situation. For so long, we've been very selfish. It's all about us. So we should also be very serious with the solution to the problems we face. Birth, death, disease, old age. Now there's this healing. What is healing all about? Disease. Not only that, what will heal? This pain, this longing. For God, for that world that should be a feeling, a happiness that's so fulfilling. But now, it's directed upon this temporary world. We follow the dictates of the mind. So the spiritual master is very great. He does not tell us, he tells us straight. Turn right. Just walk straight. Don't turn left. Because you turn left, there's an abyss there. You might fall down. Don't taste this food because it's poisonous. You go to the jungle, there's this poison ivy. It's so attractive because when the sun hits it and the leaves, there's a lot of, it's so green, attractive, different colors. And wow, very nice plant. You hold it, embrace it. When I was young, physically, I used to roam around the forest because during that time we were living in a farm. There's this poison ivy because I'm so stupid. Wow. I'm thinking, they call it alingatong here in the Philippines. So I touch it. When I touch it, the burning sensation in your hands, it's like it's big, when you touch fire. But the difference is your hands not burning, but you experience the burning fire piercing your skin, and and then you begin to scratch. The more you scratch your body, it goes around. It's get the little sort of like part of the plant goes around your pores, and then the more you scratch, the more it itch, and your whole body is burning. It's a death experience. So the spiritual master is very grave. He sees what's happening. Not this idea na, okay, you're riding a plane and tell you, in case of, untoward incidents. And these untoward incidents, you'll just die. You'll be crushed. You'll drown. You can use this life vest. In case there's no air, there's this oxygen. So, we should be alarmed. Is this the solution to the problem we face? And then somebody comes. Our Gurudev, who connects us with a world that is not this world, a world that is eternal. So he teaches us about our true nature, that I am life, transcendental, a different energy from matter. And the source is the Supreme Person. And that person is someone whom we can relate to eternally. So the more we hear this science, we follow the teachings of our spiritual master, then we can be guided. Just like when we take the medicines prescribed by a bona fide doctor, the wound becomes healed, the disease becomes cured. The spiritual master is convinced. Just like Sukadev Goswami is completely convinced. So he can convince Maharaj Pariksit by passing on the eternal science of loving devotional service being experienced an ongoing process with the Supreme Lord and His devotees. So now we can check, where will I repose or direct my energy? As spirit soul, a different energy from mother, will I follow the dictates of the mind, the desire, or will I follow this process patiently and diligently, be filial, obediently follow the process that is given to us by God Himself in this age of quarrel and confusion, that will heal, that will purify what we are longing for. And this is the chanting of the holy names, the easiest process to control the mind is to purify it with a superior force, God, the Supreme Person, who comes as the holy names, coming from the lips of His pure, confidential, loving servant, who teaches us about love for God, who is akin to someone who have crossed the jungle of material life, this jungle that it's hard to traverse. He traversed it already and he comes back and gives us guidance. He is convinced. He's not the person who makes believe. You ask a person, "Sir, can you direct me where I should go? I want to go to, where's this? To this concert in, a place in, somewhere in Manila, or where they have this concert now being advertised." But the guy doesn't know, and he makes believe. Maybe, I think, so be very careful. When you ask someone, follow someone who is convinced. Or else, you'll be misled. When you go there, it's like a maze. Where am I? I just followed that guy, but he tells me, "I don't know, but I think you should go there," So in this path we follow, it is sure and it is already guaranteed that if we follow this, we will succeed, because the person who is guiding us is someone who has succeeded. Just like when we were discussing about whom we should give our lives. We should only give our life wholeheartedly to someone who is God, or the representative of God. Because the qualification of the representative of God, is being discussed here by the great sages, authorities, how heavy he is. heavy with knowledge, and not only that, heavy laden with love, in loving devotional service. So if we follow that person, we can know the science of devotional service. So we should look within, hear, listen, and follow and be guided. Not this, because sometimes it's sad that when a person is given guidance, especially medicine prescribed by the doctor to get well. And in this case, the mind should become our friend. And he gives us the holy names to purify it, to purify the desire, this material disease that has engulfed us, covered us, that has modeled our mind, that we have identified with this temporary material body and with the senses. So now the mind has become our enemy. So it tells us the mind should become your friend. So he gives us this guidance. So it's a long process, but we should be patient. Because the person guiding us, not only he externally we see him, by associating with him, through hearing, listening, through his teachings, we can enter the world of that loving world that is being, or the devotees, the sages, the transcendentalists are in complete meditation, and that world is ongoing. Just like the spirit soul us, we're eternal, but the activities we engage in, sadly, even though we are given instruction, is now directed by the desire in the mind. So, when we take the medicine that is given to us through associating with our spiritual master, he gives us this association, he gives us this teaching, he allows us to taste what we are longing, we're looking. Because the point is this: if the doctor is not bona fide, he cannot cure you. So the person who is not a bona fide spiritual master, who is not a lover of God, who is not heavy laden with love of God, cannot touch our heart. Because that person touches, he speaks what we're longing for. He connects our heart, our life, with the desire, the will of God. And when we hear it, that's what I'm longing for, real eternal happiness. So, with the purity of the mind, through the process that He's giving us, we can now see, oh, the desire that has engulfed me, I should be careful not to follow it, but rather redirect that desire to do what is pleasing to God. So it's a science science means a process you follow. An experiment you do, but this experiment is already proven. You know, this process, and then you achieve a certain result. So, because we've been for so long, been lazy. You know, we imagine, like, you know, we imagine love stories. We imagine relationship. It's like my spiritual master is telling me osmosis. We sit down imagining, reading books, you know, about transcendental science, about freedom from suffering of this world. But we don't make a move. We don't take that medicine. And then when we take that medicine, slowly we become cured. We become cured from this misgiving, from this misconception, from these impurities. And now the mind becomes our friend. we can, in harmony, use it to do what is pleasing to God. Because the view that we have now is an eternal view of that world of love, of relationship with the Supreme Person. So, when you see individuals, to recall what we have discussed, this simple plant, this simple flower, garden of roses, when somebody sees that, they have different ways to use that flower, to offer their love. They pick it up, they offer it to their dead relatives who are gone. And the other, someone she loves, or the mother goes to the graduation, she gets that roses to offer to the kid, to her daughter. But the devotee, when he sees that, oh, flowers, I can arrange it. And instead of smelling it, I'll offer it to my friend, the Supreme Person. He enters that world. Because now, how can he enter that world of what we are always reading? Vrindavan, the eternal pastimes of God. We can enter that world when we follow someone who is a resident of Vrindavan. And the residence of Vrindavan is our Gurudev, the confidential loving servant of God. That's why he gives us a process to be sane, to be healed, because we are so diseased. Living for so long away from the world of real happiness. We're always under the cover of darkness. And he feels compassion. He wants us to be happy. So that is the bona fide spiritual master. So we will continue again the qualities of the bona fide spiritual master, because to be guided, we should be very careful whom we should follow. Like in this world, you want to become an engineer, go to a school, learn from a professional, successful engineer. You want to be a doctor, go to a medical school, learn from those medical practitioners who are doctors. They can teach you. But in this case, it is an emergency situation, because time moves so fast. The human form that we have, it is an opportunity for us that while in this body, we can be with God. While living in this world, we are in meditation, in connection with this devotional world of offering in loving devotion, of giving our life to do what is pleasing to God, and under the guidance of an able person who is a lover of God. He can guide us. We become an apprentice. He guides us. Do this, do that. So we should be very patient. And in this case, the system of parampara handed to us, we should embrace it, and it will be what will heal this disease of being separated from the source of happiness, of this love. It is the cure. It will be the beginning, and it will be the end itself. Haribol Namaste. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Bhaja Shri Krishna Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama
Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda 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 Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol Krishna, Haribol Krishna. Jai Jai Srila Prabhupada. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda